I'm Bill Moyers. The philosopher Huston Smith tells us no civilization has been found that did not have a sacred center. Trying to understand the human story without religion would be like trying to explain smoke without fire. But Huston Smith goes on to say, the chief reason I find myself returning to the world's religions is for help on questions I've not been able to get away from. Each of the enduring religions contains universal principles that transcend time and culture. It's not easy to extract those values from religions that are not our own, but it can be done, Huston Smith says, if we see their followers as men and women who face problems much like our own, and if we rid our minds of prejudice that dulls our sensitivity to fresh insights. Take Confucianism, one of Huston Smith's favorite subjects. Confucius was no god, but his teachings were the invisible mortar holding together a society containing 1/4 of the world's population. Society, Confucius said, could not achieve political or civil harmony until its people achieved moral harmony within themselves. While Confucius spoke to Chinese society, his contemporary, Lao Tzu, spoke to the Chinese soul through this slim volume called the Tao Te Ching, or The Way and the Power. This is the Bible of that other great influence on Chinese culture, Taoism. As Huston Smith discovered, you can read it in an hour or a lifetime. One of our foremost scholars and interpreters of the world's religions, Huston Smith has been leading students into the heart of the religious experience since the early 40s. Born in China in 1919, the son of American missionaries, he was surrounded during childhood by a culture that accommodated a rich variety of religious beliefs. This variety finds expression in his now classic work, first published when he was only 38 years old and since read by millions. The chapters on Confucianism and Taoism, two of the traditions we explore in this program, are among his most eloquent. What he has learned, he has applied to life. Spiritual practices like yoga, which concludes this program, inform his daily journey. But we begin with the yin-yang, symbol of the Taoist approach to life.
The yin-yang, symbolizing the opposites of life, not divided by a razor-sharp line, good on one side, evil on the other. Each takes up its abode in the deepest citadel of the other by virtue of the black dot in the white domain and the white dot in the black domain. Symbolizing the mystery of the relationship between the opposites that characterize and make up our lives and how they can be united, brought together. Hung Mei, wonderful. It just elevates me to look at that.
写不好。
谢谢你，谢谢。Chinese will say you can learn more about life by contemplating this yin-yang symbol. Of course, this comes out in many stories. Let me tell you a short one because it's one of my favorite, about the man whose horse ran away. And his neighbor, solicitous, comes over to commiserate with him. And all the man says, who knows what's good and bad? And sure enough, the next day, the horse returned with a drove of wild horses that it had encountered. So now the man was rich with horses. So the neighbor comes hopping over to congratulate him on his good fortune. And again, all the man would say is, who knows what's good or bad? And sure enough, the next day, his son tries to ride one of the wild horses, falls off, break his leg. Again, the commiseration, and again, the same response, who knows? And once more, who does know? Because the next day the military came conscripting for the army, and the son didn't have to go because of the broken leg. It's a simple parable, but it just illustrates the intertwining of these things that we tend to put in different boxes and think of them as the sharp antagonists.
And what does this say about the essence of Confucianism then?
Let me say that Confucianism and Taoism are not divided, as this is part of the yin-yang, in sharp compartments. It's really not accurate to think of them as different religions, because it's more like a single religion that in Chinese they would call it the Dao. Which church are you belong to? I belong to the Great Church, of course, which includes Confucianism and Taoism and Buddhism and a good smattering of shamanism and folk religion thrown in. Every Chinese traditionally was a Confucianist on state occasions, like our Memorial Day parade and things like that. When illness fell, they would call in the Taoist sages up in the mountains. They know about these healing herbs, and also they know about spirit. And then when death comes, why then you call in the Buddhist priests, because they knew about these afterlives, reincarnation, and other realm. We Chinese, we're flat-footed. We don't know. We know about this world, but you can't be too safe and careful, so we better tap their wisdom about what's going to happen after that. So, as I say, all three of these core